Hi, I'm Arcalarm. I held the world record in this category. My personal best is about 30 seconds behind Duke's world record, and I've been running this game for a few years now. I primarily run Glitchless.
Yep. Okay, so I want to quickly direct your attention to these. So this is Skylanders Spyro Adventure, and its main gimmick are the toys. Sorry, pointing the camera is very hard. If you want to switch Skylanders, then you simply take the toy off and you put it back on. So yeah, so that's the main gimmick of this. This game is also very buggy, as we were experimenting with more glitches even while waiting, and we found new ones we never even knew. So yeah, but hopefully everything will go just as planned. I think with that said, let's get ready for the race. Alright. Mark, let me know.
I'm good to go.
Alright. So I will count it down, and then we will begin. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so yeah. So this is Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. The structure of this game is 22 linear levels, which we must progress through in order to rebuild the core of life destroyed by the main villain of this game, Chaos. That will involve a lot of just running around and beating levels. Some of them more interesting than others. There'll be plenty of cutscenes, there'll be plenty of combat, a nice variety of things from nice glitchless run. And of course, it is a race.
Something to note about Chapter 1 is Chapter 1 is arguably one of the longer levels in the game in terms of cutscenes. Most of the cutscenes in Skylanders for the Wii version can be skipped, but not so in Chapter 1. I'm not sure why, but that is the case. So we have about 4 minutes to talk about how this run really works.
Yeah. Yeah, so the run will mostly be done as our first Skylander here, Stealth Elf, because she has a very fast speed and a very high damage per second, as well as being generally quite small and easy to maneuver. There are other Skylanders that will have much more niche uses that we'll need to use throughout the rest of the game. So, a couple of other things that we need to point out. First of all, Markalar mentioned specifically that this is the Wii version of the game, and that's because the difference between this version, the Wii version, and the other games, the 360, the PS3, and the PC version of the game, they're completely different engines, as far as we know. They're very different games, and they're incredibly different speedruns. So yeah, if you want to see HD runs, you'll have to go and look on speedrun.com for those. Second of all, we're playing in different languages for the purpose of text speed, or not just text speed, voice acting speed. Pretty standard stuff. What's the other thing I was going to mention?
Oh, are you playing in Spanish or French?
I always play in Spanish.
Okay.
I don't care if it's slower than French. I'm playing in Spanish. You can't stop me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that French saves something like 15 seconds or something over English for Glitchless, due to the text scrolling speed and voice acting, which there's a good amount of in this game.
Yeah. Okay, so first thing you might object to being in no glitch allowed, and that was I did what's known as a snapback, where I turned away from a push to cancel the push animation, and I could move towards the turtle a bit faster. They're allowed. You can't stop us.
The main reason that snapbacks are allowed, and there are a few other glitches in the run that we do allow, the main reason they're allowed is because they can happen if you just walk into it in a particular way, it just kind of happens. So instead of banning any speedrun that accidentally does it because we consider it a glitch, we just kind of allow it for the sake of it being a more pleasant running experience, and because it's allowed, we use it to our advantage to save about a second. I think it's just under a second or something like that every single time we push, whether it's a turtle, a block, or a cannon, which you'll see later.
It's definitely less than a second.
Yeah, less than a second, but it definitely adds up over the course of the run because there's a lot of pushing.
There will be. It will probably have the most objections in the Chaos fight.
Yes.
So going back to the structure of this game, so the 22 levels are broken into 21 elements plus a final level. And then the 8 elements themselves, 4 of them end in a pretty standard way, like this one will, the air one. Some of them will end, however, with a boss fight, which is not really a boss fight, as it is mostly just a glorified auto-scroller you can lose time on. So those have interesting mechanics that we'll need to use, most notably the unload. We'll talk about those later.
Another thing that this run has is we have a lot of different, there's a lot of movement in this game, and there are instances where it looks like the movement that we do would be considered to be glitchy, but depending on how the collision is set up, we allow it. For example, if you check my screen coming up, we have a turtle up here that the game wants us to push, but we're not going to do that. Instead of pushing the turtle, we're going to just kind of roll along that little side ledge there. And things like that we allow because the ledge is... We don't really consider it a glitch because there is ledge there, like you can visually see the ledge and there's collision, so we just kind of say, okay, this is a part of normal level geometry. It may be precise, but we allow it. And there's a few other instances of that in the run, though that one is probably one of the less tight ones. There's going to be one in level 9, which is pretty difficult.
There are a couple of other things that we might get by accident. Like enemies can sometimes just fall through the floor if you attack them. We have no idea why, so we don't mind it. The only other one is what we call a walking cutscene, which you won't see. Well, you might see, but you won't see them being used for advantage. Because if you get hit at the same time a cutscene starts, you will be able to maintain movement. However, that for us is a glitch, so we won't allow it. But it might trigger it by accident. If we do, we might move around a little bit, but in normal runs, we're not going to use it for advantage.
Yeah, if it accidentally happens, we just say, okay, if you get it, just like kind of... Yeah, just stand still and wait for the cutscene to play out.
For some reason, the Dro Lancer, is the only enemy in the game you can't skip his introduction cutscene, and we have no idea why. Okay, also, if you saw my screen there, I failed a step back by pointing back too early, which means that you can't push the turtle again until you move away from it. It's a weird mechanic where certain things, we're dashing into turtles in certain ways, or moving into turtles in certain ways means you can't actually push it until you move away from it. This game is very good. So we're going to take the shortcut over here, and then head down. Mark's probably ahead of me.
Yeah, I just entered the shooting segment. So here the game wants you to shoot 4 locks. So we shoot the 4 locks, but we try to only use 2 shots in order to do it because the hitbox of the watermelon that gets shot out of the cannon is slightly big enough to hit 2 locks simultaneously. I was only able to... I did it in 3 shots, which typically I'm pretty happy with. Getting the second one on the right 2 locks is the more difficult one, and that's the one I missed, so I'm not really worried about missing that. I honestly expect that to happen.
Okay, so I know you saw it before the second chapter. This is the hub world. This is where you access all the levels, and you'll also sometimes be asked to do little tasks like this, where you destroy some brambles. Take note of the floating flowers, by the way. It's very important for absolutely nothing, but they're floating.
This is true. Unreal.
And now we get into one of the most disliked levels in the game.
Yeah, there's a few pretty long auto-scroll. Well, yeah, there's a couple of pretty long auto-scrollers in this game, and this level is one of those. But this auto-scroller is kind of weird because you can still save and lose time depending on how well you shoot.
It's based mostly on cycles, so if you start missing, obviously you're gonna time to cycle.
Also, I just did a quick thing there where I went on the teleporter while I was in the Skylanders menu. There's only one instance in this run where you have to open the menu of the Skylander because the game is confusing you how it works. But you can enter that while you're on the teleporter, so it saves a little bit of time. It can happen accidentally.
You might also sometimes... you might also be forced to do that if you get a weird bug in Chapter 6 where a bounce pad just stops working.
Oh yeah, that too. And sometimes, things just don't decide to work.
That guy turned incredibly quickly. Normally these guys, they kind of fly into the middle of your screen and then they turn, but that guy turned right on the right side of the edge, and I have no idea why. I've never seen him turn that early. I guess maybe they're a bit more random than we ever know.
Yeah, I'm playing this, I think, I'll know once I get the Zeppelin.
By the way, if you're we're destroying those balloons because they can spread gems, and gems stop you from rolling when they're counting down after the end of it. So we want to collect no gems ideally. I collected one by accident. But
yeah, I collected 2. You can actually collect like 2 and still be fine as long as you skip the cutscene or skip the animation of them collecting as you exit it. Sometimes it allows you. Like there, I had 3, but the money that you get for collecting gems came out before I landed, so I ended up not losing any time for that. Or
should also mention, but yeah, so it's the second turret really where you can lose the most time to being bad at shooting. The first one is not too bad, you just have more ships on screen to deal with. In this one, if you're too slow, it will summon an extra ship after you reach the goal for no reason. Well, it does have a reason because you're too slow.
Yeah. The last turret can also be kind of rough if you are just bad at the game.
Yes. By the way, any observant I'm sure at least one observant viewer has noticed that we're currently playing as player 2. And that's intentional, and we'll see why later. But yes, it also has a nice effect of making our pointer blue instead of the yellow like it normally is if you play one. Random
oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Random fun fact to mention because there's not really much else to mention.
Yeah, there's nothing really else going on in this level. After the second turret, there's a little bit of combat that we do. And we just try to do that as quickly as possible and get to the next turret. Also, these enemy gates require specific enemies to kill. It's not always all of them. So it may look like we're skipping a few enemies, but that's because they aren't required. Like there, I skipped 2 Lancers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I skipped 2 of them because the gate just doesn't require you to kill them. So. Also, this gate right here, I'm trying to walk forward, it just doesn't let me walk forward.
These Goliath drones, they're supposed to have a shield, but their shield is very ineffective. And Stealth Elf rips through these guys. These guys, if you're playing with a Skylander that does a lot less damage per second, like a more traditional Skylander that a casual player might enjoy, those guys take a lot, they can take a beating. Stealth Elf, they are ripped through as long as your A-button mashing is good. Although if you haven't already guessed, yeah, these are pointers, which means that you're up to the mercy of your sensor bar.
Yeah, I have my hands in a really weird position. I like let it rest on my knees so I can have it be as steady as possible.
If I do that, then my sensor bar, well, my remote will be too low for the sensor bar, so
mine is above me.
Yeah, mine's on my desk, but my knee rests just slightly below my desk.
And that's it for Chapter 3. That's one of the longest tutorials in the game, just done.
But it's like a
semi-auto.
Whereas like there are a couple of auto-scrollers during the the chaos fights can largely be considered auto-scrollers, and then there's one massive one later in the game. And by later I mean like late.
Yeah, it is the second to last level.
Just to annoy you.
It's honestly, it can be quite nice if you're on really good pace, because it's just 4 minutes of just being able to relax, control your breathing, and figure out like, okay, I'm on good pace, let's not choke into the final fight.
To Flynn, by the way, he is voice acted by someone very cool in English. I don't know his name, I forgot his name, but he's done a lot of very cool things.
Isn't it? It's someone from Family Guy, I know that.
Yeah, it's what is it, the guy in the
Joe's,
wheelchair?
is it Joe's? I forget. I don't really know.
I don't rate his name. That's the voice, English voice actor. There's also Chaos, who you might recognize as well in English. And I've forgotten his name.
Though we also don't really listen to Chaos.
We don't pay attention
because we just skip all the cutscenes. Or I'm pretty sure we do, right?
And then, but of course, you must respect his giant floating head. And yes, we skip all his cutscenes. You'll be glad to know that's the last of the unskippable cutscenes for a little while.
So something to note about these pillars in Chapter 4, you can do a rollout out of them like while you're finishing up the shaking of the Wiimote, because that's how you bring them down, is through shaking. Oh, You can actually do a rollout slightly before. And it saves just a very slight amount of time. Oh, I'm falling off the edge. One of the drillings just pushed me off. That just kind of happens in this level sometimes.
Some collisions are very janky. Actually, yeah, this game has some very janky collisions.
Yes.
And some very janky rules about how friction works around walls. The physics engine, I wouldn't say it's a terrible physics engine. I'd say it's not the best physics engine.
It's not the best. It's also, it's almost exactly 10 years old at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, the birthday of this game, the 10-year anniversary of this game is next month.
I forget the exact day, but yeah, it's in October.
Doesn't matter. Next month.
Yeah.
It's like the 12th or something like that. 15th, I don't know.
Can we talk about Super Sun?
Do you want
Sure. So, I just rolled past a, what's known as a Soul Gem. It's one of the collectibles in this game, and we might actually collect one later if we're not good at the game. But basically, the Soul Gem is a collectible for every single Skylander in the game. There are 32 unique ones disregarding like variants, like there's like a dark stealth elf, there's a legendary trigger happy, stuff like that. But there's one unique Soul Gem for every Skylander in the game. And that one in particular is for a Skylander called Warnado, which is used in the glitched run of this game. You want to explain the context of why he's called Soup?
Yes, I will explain the context of Soup. So that glitch, I showcased actually in No Holidays Allowed 2020, where you, actually did I? Where you basically jump, where you can use him to jump over things. And so Corey, by the way, excellent moderator and player of this in this community.
Shout out to Corey.
Corey, yeah, shout out to Corey. Corey found that you can do a jump into a lantern in chapter 15, which makes him look like a bowl of soup. So he's now called Soup. And it is the greatest meme. It's the greatest meme in this community.
And the reason we call it Super Cent is there is a category extension where you play as Warnado for the entire run, and you have to collect that Soul Gem. So Warnado is collecting his own Soul Gem. And the cool thing about the Soul Gems is once you collect it, it actually plays like a little movie trailer for that Skylander. I guess the whole point of it is like, oh, you collect a Soul Gem of the Skylander you don't have, you see it, and you're like, wow, that Skylander's really cool, I want to buy it. And then...
Money. Game is very much about money.
It's very much about money.
Like, and why else would gold be the currency in this game, and not gems like they were in Spyro? Makes you think. Speaking of collectibles, actually, I want to give one last mention of the other collectible that we have to be careful of, which is the story scroll.
Oh, true.
They give you, amusing snippets of random backstory that have no bearing on the story whatsoever. They're just fun. However, they're placed very in the way, and in some areas, it's actually possible that. Oh, I'm dumb. It's very possible that you can collect those story scrolls without wanting to, and then you have to watch a cutscene of it being picked up, and then. Then you have to clear it away. So yeah, it's pretty annoying, but they're there. If you want to go and read them, they're pretty amusing.
The main ones are in the chapter 20 and 21. How do they get teleported up here?
20, 21, and 11 are the ones that you're probably gonna hit.
Oh yeah, 11 too. Also, if you were paying attention to my screen a few seconds ago, I got teleported. Because this game is full of glitches that are outside of my control. It lost time, so it's allowed.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Is that something I was gonna mention?
Yeah, so the camera here just gets super glitchy. I actually don't know where I am. Okay.
I got the
camera glitch. If you go too fast, then you just kind of can't see where you are. Normally I have movement to get out of there, but I haven't had that happen to me in a while, so I kind of forgot the...
Alright, and that's Allspill Island, which we didn't even mention the name of. We're not even mentioning the names of these chapters because they just go so fast.
Yeah, I just
especially in 90% where some of them can last less than a minute. Okay, so this is why we play 2. That's it. That's why we play 2. So if you collect that as player 1, if you play the oil can when you play 1, the game will play a cutscene scrolling over to that, the telescope, the far view it's called. If you're player 2, it doesn't play it.
And that's, I think, the entire... Is that the only reason why we use player 2, or is it...
That's the only reason we play 2. It skips that
cutscene. I got bad gurgles in RNG.
I got the best RNG. Whoa. So, Gurglefin there is the NPC we need to talk to go into this level, Darkwater Cove. However, he randomly walks along the pier. Sometimes he'll be at the very end of it, just kind of sitting down and watching the sky, because it's Skylands. It's basically a massive sky island. And sometimes he'll be going to work on his oil donkey. So, in my case, Marks, assumably, was down at the end of the pier admiring his ship.
Yeah, I got second worst possible RNG.
Okay, so he was kind of just standing at the end of the pier, while mine was on his way to go and look at the oil donkey, which means I got pretty good Gurglefin RNG. Saved a few seconds if you get good RNG over bad RNG.
It's minimal, but it's about,
It's, I'd say it's a good 2-3 seconds, honestly.
Well, yeah, by minimal, I meant, it's... I don't know, I count, my rolls, so it's, certain parts of the piers, you have to do an extra roll or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, yes, it adds up, but it's outside of your control. You can save time elsewhere, as long as you're playing well. Which, I feel like I'm playing pretty alright so far, I don't know about you.
These lot puzzles are very insignificant. On the main path, they're pretty easy to solve and don't really take too long, so we're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
You basically just press left or right, and that turns the lock left or right, and that means that the guy goes left or right.
Then coming up after this level, we're actually going to see the first Skylander swap of this run. Will be cool.
Place your bets. Who is it going to be?
Yeah, there's 32 total Skylanders that we can use using one of them, so if you know all of them, you have a 1 in 31 chance.
No, you can't just say Stealth Elf.
Yeah, because it is a swap here, changing from Stealth Elf to not Stealth Elf. Please game, thank you. I got nervous for a second because the getting the, I forget what it's called, but getting the thing after you kill the water mage, sometimes I just don't get the cutscene to happen, and then I lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, I got it to happen though. I was a little bit off, so I was fine.
Yeah. If you want to do rolls on that, then you can, but it's precise, and if you fall, you lose time. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah, about that.
How did you do it?
I rolled and I fell.
No, dude. I can't see what you're doing. But...
yeah, I don't have your stream open either. It's fine though. We gotta make the race interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is going to be a close race.
Yeah.
Assuming the pace from a race like this, we're going to be within. It could come down to the final fight.
Yeah, realistically.
If you, Hugo, the mole, is the biggest dick of an NPC in this entire game.
Did you accidentally talk to him?
No, I didn't. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear, by the way. So he is annoying. He often stands in your way, so if you're mashing C, just get the cutscene too fast, he'll be there, ready to play an unskippable cutscene that can sometimes last a good 15 seconds.
Yep. That has happened on PB Pace a number of times.
It happens regularly. It's definitely something you do more when you're first starting this run, because your natural instinct is just to mash C. Once you've run this game a few times, you'll know where you need to press C, where you need to stop. If you said Cinder, by the way, for your prediction, then congratulations, you won. Cinder here is used because they have the ability to go over the water. Stealth Elf cannot swim or fly or anything like that. Cinder can. Cinder also has the fastest speed when doing that. So, and also you can kind of just glide right through enemies.
Yep. So you might be thinking, why don't we just use Cinder for the entire run if she's so fast? Because I mean, she is pretty fast. The main reason we don't use Cinder for really anything else, well, we use Cinder for another level, but the main reason we don't use her more often is because her damage per second is pretty not great. Stealth Elf provides the best balance of damage per second and speed in the game. So we use Stealth Elf.
Should mention all of that is based on max level. So because the data of a Skylander is stored inside of its base itself and not actually inside of the game or the file, that means that we're playing with a fully maxed out Skylander. So a lot of power is really tested now. We could, in theory, add any percent reset, but nobody wants to run it because it's such a boring category in comparison. Because Skylanders, when they don't have any upgrades, are very weak and very slow. So the category would just be, in general, a lot less fun to run.
Yeah. There's another category called Original Trio %, which
yes,
that category the way that this game came out is actually let me zap first.
Wait, you're in Zap already?
Yeah, I had a pretty good Leviathan.
How did? I thought about to say you had a pretty good Leviathan to read. That's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna be close because I think I was ahead on exiting Dark Water.
Yeah, you were. But anyway, so Original Trio. So the way that this game came out is you got a bundle which included the game, obviously, and it included the Portal of Power, which is how the Skylanders connect to the game, and it included 3 Skylanders for you to start off with. It included Spyro, Trigger Happy, and Go Grunt. And there's a category where you are only allowed to use those 3 Skylanders, and you have to reset them before you run. So I don't know a whole lot about that category, I just really know of its existence.
It's possibly the hardest category on the boards.
Yeah, because Spyro, Gilgrunt, and Trigger Happy aren't too strong.
That's strong. Yeah.
Once they're max level, they can be okay. Yep. But you start with them at level 1, so it's pretty difficult.
So this is our first Chaos fight. It is it's structured in they're all structured in the same way, but with two variations. So there will be a minion, which is a clone of a Skylander that you will or will not have. In that case, that was Gilgrunt. There's also Zap, which we use later, and Slam Bam in this one. After you defeat a minion, Chaos will summon a spell. In this case, Doom Sharks. It's actually the most annoying one because if you go close to these sharks, they will play a near miss animation, which slows you down.
Yeah.
The other ones, they just do a lot of damage to you. Then after the spell finishes, it does another clone, and then that repeats. There's only 3 clones, even though there are 4 Skylanders of each element, which I don't know why they did that. They just did.
They wanted to keep some secret.
Yeah. So there are 2 variations. So this one and the final one in Chapter 19, they work on a cycle of Skylander, spell, Skylander, spell, Skylander, and then it will do all 3 Skylanders at the same time, but with reduced health. In Chapter 11 and Chapter 17, it does spell, Skylander, spell, Skylander, spell, Skylander, spell, Skylander, spell, and then it does 3 spells.
Or all
3 Skylanders. Yeah. It just means that Chapter 11 and 17 will be a bit longer, but it doesn't really mean. And also, like, there is a chance that you can die to these because they can do. At the end, like in Chapter 17, the laser will do like 80 damage per hit, which you only have about 540 health to begin with. And the Skylanders themselves are pretty deadly.
I'm going to go for an unload here. Why am I on that side of the screen? Okay, well maybe I'm not.
I'm probably not.
Yeah. So the idea here is you try to kill 2 Skylanders at the same time or near the same time, so then it cancels the animation of one of them dying.
I got it.
I didn't get either of them. They were in awful positions.
I got a single.
You got a single
on Gilgrunt.
And getting a single unload saves. How many seconds is it? It's like 4 to 6. I can't remember.
It's the length of that death animation, which I think is about 5 seconds. Overall, if you get no unloads versus getting double unloads, as we call them, in all 4 fights, it loses 50 seconds to get no unloads compared to getting all unloads. But I don't think anybody has ever gotten all unloads in a run before.
Yeah, the water one is pretty difficult. Life, which we'll be seeing in a few chapters, is okay, but it's not too bad. Undead is the easiest, but you can still mess it up.
And fire is the hardest.
And the fire is absolutely the hardest. I've only ever done a single unload. Or I think I might have done a double at one point, but it was not in a run.
Yep. For the host, the next 3 Chaos fights will be good donation reading opportunities if you... Because there's not really much going on in them, you just have to kind of survive.
Yeah.
I'll call when that's a good time.
Because the only thing to mention in any of them is in life we take intentional damage to save a little bit of time.
Yeah. I want to point out something there for the keen eye. So I got hit by a barrel, but you might have heard the sound of a shield being hit, and instead of a damage value, there was a golden shield. That is armor. It is random and it blocks all incoming damage.
And it prevents you from taking knockback as well.
Yeah. So, I think with that segue, it's a good time to mention stats, and the reason why we're wearing hats. So, wow, my snapbacks are awful today. I can't get them. So, the Skylanders have essentially 4 stats that you can improve on. That being health, not health, sorry, speed, critical hit, elemental, and armor. Not health, no health.
Health only.
Health increased with, upgrades. Oh, I got no enemies to spawn in the first section. The pre-first tower.
Wait, you got no enemies to spawn?
I like that. Yep, no enemy spawns. That is an unintentional glitch, and will not be counted as
yeah, we're just gonna run
glitchless rules.
You mean entering the tower or inside?
So, just before entering.
Before entering, yeah, I've had that before.
Yeah, I got it in the marathon.
So did I. Well, I mean, so did I.
Yeah, so health increase when you level up. The other 4 stats can be improved by either wearing a hat or by doing heroic challenges, which means setting up for this run not only involves having to get your Skylanders to level 10, but you also have to play 32 challenges, which they're pretty easy because the enemy health are the health of the enemies are nerfed as hell. Like you can kill basically any enemy in 2 hits with any Skylander. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, doing all the heroic challenges with I would say any Skylander can take like just about an hour, as long as you know what you're doing.
It takes anywhere between 1 and 2 hours, depending on the Skylander.
I think the world record for doing it, because there is a category for doing all heroic challenges.
There are tools available to do. I don't think currently we have the tools required to actually manipulate that, which means you still have to do it by hand.
The only tool that I know of allows you to edit your gold and your XP.
Yeah. So this is the most annoying room in the game because if each of these barrels has a chomp in them. If the barrel is broken and the chomp inside is not killed, then this gate at the end that guards this eye will not lower, and it loses forever because you then have to look through the room to find the single chomp that's alive. Thankfully, mine lowered, so I'm good.
I would really like it if mine lowered.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! There's a chompy alive somewhere.
Yeah.
Break all the barrels. You have to break all the barrels, basically.
Yeah, that's
to look for them.
a lot of time loss. Where is it?
Well,
it's all the way in the corner. It was like exact opposite side of the room. I had a bad feeling that was gonna go awful, and it did. But that's I mostly expected that to happen. So I mean, there's time saved elsewhere.
There's a lot of time saved to come.
Yeah.
And in this game, it's a lot easier to lose time than it is to save it. So most of the time, you improving PB is just not making mistakes as opposed to actually playing the game well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not making mistakes does kind of mean that you're playing a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, if you noticed, I think Duke already did it, but we swapped the Cinder for this level because there's a section where we fly over water, and it saves a good amount of time. We do, at least I do the swap early, as soon as we enter the level.
I do it when I reach the shore.
Gotcha. I do it early. I think it might. I don't know if it saves time or not, but I don't know. I just do it early, so I don't have to think about it. Also, so I can
grab
do
3 keys.
Yeah. So I think I talked to Duke, and he said he wasn't gonna go for this, but I will. There is some really difficult movement that you can do on these blocks that I'm on, where you can kind of just roll across. And let me see if I can get it.
Hang on. Minnie, oh Mark, sorry. Yeah. Minnie's the old name. Mark, is there a rail there, or do you have to use it on a block? Because there's a rail. I just noticed the rail on this ledge. Nice. I've noticed a rail on the ledge that I think that I remember you doing it from, but I expect you do it from a block instead of the ledge itself.
You're gonna have to like talk to me after the run, because I'm not really sure what you're talking about right now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll sort that after. Alright. Hugging the left side of this wall there skips the cutscene. And now we're gonna do a trick with an interesting history behind its naming. Got it?
Yeah, this trick is weird.
So, that skip there was found by Mark Alarm a while ago, and then it was rediscovered by Madman. Shout out to Madman, by the way, for being an awesome competitor in any percent and a good friend and incredibly good memer. Anyway, so Madman then rediscovered it a few months later and was like, oh, I found that skip, and then he hated it, but he hated doing it so much that he found it really hard. So it then became known as the Madman climb because Madman hated it and he claimed to have found it. And then while researching for a world record progression video, which we haven't made yet and probably aren't going to end up making ever, we found that we rediscovered that Mark actually found it and not Madman. So that's now the Mark Alarm climb, even though it was formerly known as the Madman climb.
Yeah.
All of that for a very stupid glitch.
It's not a glitch.
Not
it's
glitch. Not a glitch.
Just
Very stupid movement, glitchy thing that might be glitchy if you're not looking. All that for a really stupid movement trick that saves seconds.
Uh-oh. Okay, thank God. I almost didn't hit the damage cap on the stone golem, so I was about to lose like a bunch of time.
Is that the first phase or the second
First phase. Yeah, I'm probably like 10-ish seconds behind.
I very almost missed it on the second phase, but I got it. I reached it just in time for the camera to pan into the floor.
Nice. Glitchless. This is glitchless. Confirmed.
Glitchless category. I'm gonna be. I don't know why. When I'm mashing, I move forwards out of my chair. So. If I'm mashing in if you're mashing intensely, you know.
That was really bad.
Alright, now I gotta be careful. Okay, so there I wasn't mashing C like I normally did to skip the cutscenes, and that's because if you mash C too fast, you won't skip the blind cutscene. We have no idea why it does that, and it actually reappears later as well. Fun mechanic.
Okay, I got it too. Alright,
and so welcome to... Right, okay,
You're
sorry.
good.
Welcome to the buggiest level that doesn't have... Well, that didn't have any glitches until Warps came along. This level is very stupid. There are soft locks, there are enemies falling through the floor, there are very janky physics, and all other kind of random oddities in this level. This level is also a reference to the Spyro, I believe is a reference to Spyro the Dragon, which also had a treetop level. There are probably a few Spyro references that I'm not seeing because I didn't play Spyro. Well, I played Spyro, but I wasn't really paying attention. But there are probably a few references throughout the game to Spyro the Dragon, so...
Almost certainly.
Yeah. Like Flynn is a reference to the balloonists. Other than that, no, this game is not related to Spyro in the slightest. We don't use Spyro in this run because he sucks.
Unfortunately.
Alright, I think I had an enemy falling through the floor, but I killed him before he fell through, and he was like falling through weirdly slow. Yeah. Very jank level, as I said. While I have nothing to talk about, I'm going to address this symbol in the top left of my screen. It's currently showing a spiral. That is the elemental symbol for air. So, in this game, every Skylander has an element. As you can see, my stealth elf has a leaf next to her. That's the life element. So, in this game, random places in the level will have elemental bonuses. In this game, it doesn't equate to much. I think it might be extra resources, although I'm not sure that's for later later games. And it also gives you the chance for elemental damage to occur. Actually, I think it always gives elemental damage when you attack an enemy.
Yeah, it does.
It's basically an additional... Basically just additional damage on top of your standard damage.
Come on, get the good
In later
cycle.
games, that is reworked. In later games, what the elemental bonus does is reworked constantly, but in this game, it's pretty simple.
I got worse cycle on the,
Yeah, I think I don't remember what cycle I got. I got the memory of... I don't remember what cycle I got. I think it was in... Actually, no, I think it was the best cycle. Yeah, I think it was good cycle. They got stuck behind the spikes in the first section. These glitches are the worst because they always fire when you're not looking. Or they do this, where they're lined perfectly with you and then they take 10 seconds to fire.
Are we gonna see it fall to the
That's
floor?
another
Fall to
reason.
the floor, please. Aw. Why is this witch just not moving?
Why is this glitch not working in my glitchless
No,
category?
I said why is the witch not moving? Because it was just kind of standing still.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they do that. They are very bad at their job, which is to fight you. Okay, so now we're going to get into the biggest RNG section of this round.
And it's my chance to catch up.
And,
Actually, I'm going to be losing time to you because I never get good apples ever. But it's a marathon, so...
You never know. Okay, so this is apples. It's a very annoying minigame where you must collect 15 apples, which are being attacked by sheep. So, where's the RNG in this? Well, first of all, the movement of the sheep is random. Where the apple grows on the tree is also random. And then, just to top it off, every tree has a growth speed, which ranges from about 5 seconds to about 11 seconds. And that's consistent for every single apple that grows on that tree for the entire sequence. But if you get 3 bad trees, then you'll be spending ages on this. But sometimes you won't. You generally want to be aiming for a 1 minute 30 to 1 minute 40 apples. 1 minute 20 is generally the golds of most of us. Like my gold is a 1 minute 24 in Glitchless.
Which he got in his world record, by the way.
Which is timed from when the screen fades into a cutscene, a later cutscene, which we'll be skipping. But I use it as a convenient cue, just because I can.
Yeah, I think I'm getting
decent. No! Oh no! Oh, I got. Oh.
Oh, did you get the
I was mashing C too early while I was next to Arbo, and now he's talking to me. So we had good apples, very good apples actually, but now I ended up getting that as a cutscene.
So I think we're actually tied now then. If you got that.
I have no idea. I don't remember how long that. I'll look at how long that took, but that was a pretty good apples until that.
Yeah.
Shame. Alright, so this is Chapter 11. This features the gimmick of chainsaws, which you must blow up with rockets. Or in HD, you can literally just attack them with a knife and they'll blow up. Also, this level has, I think, possibly one of the funniest stories. Well, Chapter 11 in general, and as well as the Apple sequence, has very dumb stories regarding other characters. So Hugo, the annoying NPC I mentioned earlier, has a fear of sheep, and in the first couple of levels, he spent bickering with Flynn about bringing back sheep. And then in apples, you actually realize that the reason he hates sheep is because, you know, the sheep are annoying, and they actually hurt you in the apples, as they're stopping you from collecting the apples usually. And in this level, Chaos has a hatred of trees. And that's not just like a one-time gag either. That reappears in Skylanders Giants.
Which is the
and it might reappear. Yeah, and it might also reappear in the third game, Skylanders Swap Force, with Phantom Forest. I'm not entirely sure that's explicitly a reference to that though. But either way, this game, Chaos just really does not like trees. And this is the reason. Because the elemental light source is inside of a tree. I know I mentioned the story earlier regarding rebuilding the core of light. Oh my god, are you kidding? I hit so
much. Oh no. Also something that I think I want to mention something that Duke, I don't know if you forgot to talk about it or not, but during Apples, I don't know if you did, but I used 2 controllers to play the game like simultaneously. So it ends up saving a swap. Because all you have to do is take the Skylander off, and then you just say, I don't want to be playing in 2-player mode anymore. So instead of having to go from Stealth Elf to Cinder to Stealth Elf, you add Cinder, remove Cinder, and then it saves a little bit.
I should also mention that we use different strategies for that. I use Sonic Boom, whereas Mark used Cinder. That's mostly just preference, because Mark does not like Sonic Boom. Yep. But generally, most people use Sonic Boom.
I mean, I'll probably learn how to use Sonic Boom eventually.
Alright. Okay, so I'll fight Zook, and then I'll explain the snails, and then I will hand off to the host to talk. So with Zook done, I will talk about it now. So in this fight, the spell basically comes in 2 parts. It comes in these red snails, which slowly walk across the screen, and you have to kill them. And once they were destroyed, the next part of the phase begins. These green orbs cannot be, well, they can be destroyed by running into them, but they'll generally generate more of them. I completely forgot where I was going. Luckily, it's a bit more scrollless. And they just run into you. They do about 60 damage. It's a lot. Alright, and with that said, host, if you would like to do anything, then now's your cue. You have about a minute or 2.
That's 2.
Host does not want to read donations. I'm assuming that's going to mean it's not much.
Okay. Actually, okay.
We'll keep quiet. We'll keep quiet in case he wants to, but it seems like we might not have.
We do not, unfortunately, not have any donations here, but I can do a shout out to our charity operation, Go Rescue, which is a no-kill, non-profit shelter that takes in dogs and tries to help them find new good homes, and it just saves them from getting down. It's one of our favorite charities, and it's the only one we have found that's really is good power. Really enjoy this marathon, and if you want to save some dogs, please use exclamation mark donate to find the donation page. We are running some incentives as well that you can find on the same donation page.
Alright, thank you. We'll have the same opportunity again in chapter 17 and 19 if you want to take it. If not, then we can probably say some other random stuff. If you'll need the opportunity, don't feel bad about letting us know. We'll allow you time. So, continue with Chaos, who doesn't really put up a fight.
Time to get a double unload.
No.
I'm getting a double unload and you can't stop me. But I can stop me.
By the way, if you're wondering, there's two questions regarding unloads. Number one, why they're called unloads? I have no idea. It's a terrible name. I need to convince Ant and the other runners that unload is a terrible name.
Yeah, why do we call it unload?
So whatever. I have no. I
got one.
It's just a tradition.
Yeah, I got
nice.
one.
Second of all, are they a glitch? Yes, but they are basically unavoidable, so we allow them.
Well, they are technically avoidable, but sometimes
but
they
like,
just happen,
it's really annoying
so we allow it.
Yeah. There are some where, like, the unload, like, sometimes they'll be like, you'll kill them within a second like that. I got one unload as well,
nice.
by the way. And then sometimes you can be like 10 seconds later and they'll still give you an unload, which makes no sense. So we allow it for the sake of the fact that there's not much we can do about it. Into Troll Warehouse, our first tech level of the game.
Yeah, something to note about Troll Warehouse is most of the level is spent solving puzzles. So the lock puzzle that you saw earlier in, what was it, I think chapter 6, Darkwater Cove.
As well as the tutorial one before.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, we do like, I think 3 or 4 of these. So most of this level is spent inside the lock puzzle, just doing the optimal rotations, so there's not really any, like, specific movement going on, we just know which ways to go, and then we're through it. Though there is a puzzle later on in the level that we have to do in a very particular order, because if we don't do it in that order, we get a cutscene to occur, and the cutscene takes a while.
Why am I killing the things? I don't know why I was killing the enemies before the second lock puzzle.
Got him his boss.
Brain. Good.
Also, interesting thing, this minefield, is that's the end of the level. So, we theorized, okay, what if we could just go walk through the minefield? And
You can.
unfortunately, we can walk through the minefield, but at the very end there's a gate, which requires you to, do all the intended parts of the level. So, we say, okay, what if we could jump over the gate? And I don't think, I forget if we're...
No, we can.
Yeah, we can jump over.
We can jump over the gate, but then the end of level transition is not there until you cut the map. So they have like 3 layers of defense from speedrunning, and is, as far as we're aware, the most resistant to glitching levels. That's not the case in HD, the HD version of the game. The HD version of the game are busted. Should also mention abusing Snuckles. So Snuckles is the NPC that was following us there, and so yeah. So when you attack an NPC in this game, they don't take damage. However, they will kind of cower away. They'll say "ow," and then eventually they'll get back to normal, like nothing happened. If you do that with Snuckles, he'll start carrying away. So he'll get so carried away with it that he'll be too polite not to follow you and to give you an unskippable cutscene that lasts 3 seconds.
Oh, I don't actually go for that because I'm not good at it. Well, I need to learn.
It's not that hard.
I need to learn how to do it. Also, I just finished doing the the block and like crystal block moving puzzle. The way that I do that is, like I mentioned before, is very specific, because if you don't do it in that way, or I think there's like a minor variant that you can do that still works, if you don't do it in that way, the game just has like the laser going all the way around the map, going through all of the crystals, and then it unlocks the door. But if you do it that way, it doesn't happen, so it saves a very nice amount of time.
Even if the puzzle is done slightly suboptimal.
Yeah, the order that we do it, like the order, you can do the puzzle faster in terms of pushing blocks, but you get the cutscene, so it ends up netting a loss rather than doing suboptimal pushing, but skipping the cutscene. Alright, let's hope I don't die in the minefield.
Yeah, so we're gonna do some damage boost strats in the minefield. Because
I was one hit from death.
You okay? Nice.
Oops.
Classic. I think the Arbo cutscenes really put me quite far.
Yeah,
behind.
it did.
I've only just collected the 4th map piece. Yeah, that's the nature of this game. You'll do something dumb like that, and
yeah, but I mean, there's still you know, getting soft lock, so anything can happen. It's still a very, very close.
Bro, I just went through 2 mines at the same time and got 2 shields.
Nice.
If I didn't get both those shields, I would have
Oh my
died.
god.
Or if actually no, I would have. If I got one of the shields, I'd have survived. If I got no shields, I would have died.
Okay. Also, this level that I'm playing right now has a pretty interesting history to it, Chapter 13. There is some very interesting, to say the least, geometry with this level. Back when I was originally running this game, we said, okay, I want to find, you know, like, little bits of time save. So I tried just, like, rolling in spots that looked like you could possibly get up them. And I'll point it out once I'm there. But this first one, on this wall that I'm actually rolling on right now, that wall, you can just, if you're on the right of it, you can just roll up it with Stealth Elf, and it saves a few seconds if you do it perfectly. We don't allow that in Glitchless anymore because we determined it to be too glitchy, so to speak.
Pretty vertical wall.
Yeah, it's a vertical wall that you can just go up, so we're just like, we're not gonna allow that. And then there's another one later on in the level that we also don't allow because that one's also a wall. But there's another one that's like basically immediately next to it that's effectively just ground, so we allow you to use it because it's not like fire. Also I got good bomb pushing, which is nice.
Something that's also not technically glitchy, but feels like it in Mega Bombs. So these are a physics object. They roll when you push into them, and they are very annoying to roll. And they're also one of the most persistent things in the Skylanders franchise, by the fact that nobody likes them. So in this level, we have to roll a Mega Bomb down this hill in order to blow up a wall. There's also a shortcut you can take there if you push the bomb right, but I failed to, and so now I got to push all the way down the hill.
Oh, I comboed away
otherwise,
from the flag.
If you go golfing correctly, you can get a hole-in-one there and push the bomb all the way down here instead of going around the hill. But yeah, this level loops back around itself. I think, honestly, this stage in the game is where the devs figured out, hey, we can make level design which loops back around themselves. Because, like, before Chapter 12, there are no levels that do that, whereas after this, a lot of levels loop back around on themselves at some point. So, yeah, they had some brand new level design they could use. By the way, if I'm not sure whose audio is being used. If you're using my audio, it's gonna start delaying itself gradually around this time. I'm not sure why. It's probably a capture card issue, but my audio is beginning to delay. So if you're using my audio, it would probably be better to switch to Mark's. And if you're not using my audio, then that's good.
I have no idea if my audio is good or not.
Yeah, my audio begins to very slowly go out of sync. I think it might be that my capture card and my output frame rate, my capture card FPS, my output FPS are not the same. I think my capture card might be capturing like 59.97 or whatever. This stupid. By streaming 60. Either way, I'll investigate.
Oh, I actually got damaged there. I was too fast. If you go too fast there, then the like mech just kind of stomps on you, and you get a ton of knockback from it. It feels like no damage, but the knockback.
Wait, where are you? Wait, was that the first turret?
Second.
Okay, wait, you're at the second turret. Jeez, I'm falling behind. I think overall we both got fairly decent runs.
Yeah. I would be curious to know exit battlefield time.
We'll have a look at it after.
Yeah. Because there's, I don't know, there's a non-zero chance that this might be able to PB. I have no idea what my pace is though, which is why I say
there's it's very possible for him to world record if he plays.
There, yeah, there's a non-zero chance. But I will go through. But I'd have to play very well. And that ends the tech levels. Coming up now are the undead ones.
These are the worst in the game.
Yes. The undead levels are considered to be the worst in the game. For multiple reasons. The most notable one isn't actually in this level. I actually kind of like this one, chapter 15. But the one immediately following that, that one is
very buggy.
One of the buggiest and it's definitely the laggiest level in the game. So if, depending on how you play that level, you can just get soft locked and you have to restart the level. So the way it works is that there's basically a cutscene that doesn't get played if you play the level a certain way. And if you go too far in the level, then your Wii will just hard lock.
Yeah, it will freeze up. You can't even use you can use the home menu, you can't pause the game.
Oh, you can use the home menu? I had to...
Yeah, you can use, that's how my first 80% PB did that.
Yeah, I had to like fully... Wait, what?
You good?
I have to wait for a bomb to explode. I threw it down.
Yeah, I've had this.
I threw it into the void, and it just doesn't. It's not exploding. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I had to wait like 10 seconds there. I just did the
Yeah,
I just did the key early because I had nothing better to do. But yeah, that's some weird time loss that I haven't had.
I had a similar glitch where I threw the bomb into a barrel in just the right way that the barrel basically cushioned the bomb, and so it didn't explode. That was the most annoying time loss I think I've ever had in...
Yeah. Also, this enemy right here, these white spiders are awful. Their web is very sticky, so it just kind of prevents you from moving, as, you know, sticky would imply. Very slow. If you get stuck in it, you just have to hope that you get out very nicely, because you have to shake the Wii remote. It's very, very awful. And they also have way more health than you would expect them to. It's not just like a one-shot kill, you actually have to put in work to kill them.
The other enemy that's annoying this level are the green goop guys, because they are very good at blocking you.
Yeah, they have very massive hitboxes. They don't take a lot of damage, but...
They would probably make very good rugby players.
Yeah.
Or American football players if you really want to. They would very much make for good sport like that, in the sense that they can block you. They're pretty quick as well.
Yeah. Thankfully they don't have a whole ton of health, but they're definitely annoying.
They're very annoying. Then the big black spiders, they're just big. They have a lot of health. They're not really that much of a problem though. They only spawn, well, they don't really spawn anywhere. Spawners are also a little bit annoying. They just summon more spiders. I also want to mention, I actually do want to mention about those little spiders. They're not that important, they just explode. And they only have 1 health. Did I? No, no. Every single theme, every single like elemental source has a chompy type enemy, as we call them. Because chompies only have 1 health, they're introduced in the first level, and subsequently every single level theme will have at least one type of chompy. They vary in their design, their names, and their abilities, but they are essentially just chompies.
Let me know when you enter chapter 16, if you haven't already.
Yep. No, I'm still fighting. I've only just got the 2 big spiders.
Okay, because when I heard you got big
very far
spiders, I was like, wait, you caught up really fast.
No, I'm very far behind.
Okay. Pay attention to my screen for a second. I am doing very, very specific movement in order to hopefully not get... Okay, good. So that cutscene right there of the skeleton archer is very important. If that doesn't play, your game will soft lock. And we would have to restart the level. Thankfully, the movement that I have is pretty consistent to have it not crash or soft lock. So
it's not the only level in the game that does that.
But yeah, that is not the only
YC button
in this game.
YC button just was not working for some reason. I pressed it like 5 times, it didn't skip the baby cutscene. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Thankfully, I still got the soft lock prevention,
nice.
So we're good. By the way, that absolutely has probably happened to a bunch of casual players, so... The hell was that? That was so bad. Also, there's this random wall there that doesn't close immediately. And then we begin the lag spikes, the laggy parts of the level.
Yep. I don't think we have any like lag reduction strats.
There's not really any way, because the only way to do it would be to kill the enemies, which would take far too long.
Yeah.
And would be very risky, because the rhubarbs have a lot of health and they do a lot of damage. And the bone and arrows as well. They knock you back every time they hit you, and that usually means you end up getting hit by like 3 of them in a row at ridiculous damage each. And then you can't get close to them. They're probably one of the most annoying enemies in the game. For a casual player especially, who would probably want to clear out all the enemies in a room. Of course, speedrunners take the much more relaxed combat approach of run away if possible.
Yeah. And despite having a high damage per second, we don't utilize it all the time, but when we need to, it's very useful than just having to swap to something else that has higher damage per second.
Now, I should also mention, Self-Help has neither the absolute highest speed value or the absolute highest damage value in the game.
Yep.
Or damage per second value in the game. There are Skylanders with better ones, however, so as we mentioned, Cinder, we believe, is faster than Self-Help. However, the DPS is bad. There's another Skylander we'll use later with basically the opposite problem, with insanely high damage, but terrible speed. So Stealth-Help is one of the best mixes of the two.
Yeah. And another point to mention about Cinder is her absolute speed is only really... her absolute speed is only really useful in straight lines. With Stealth-Help, her roll, you can just roll anywhere in any direction, so it's very easy to just, like, if you do an incorrect roll, it's very easy to correct yourself and get back on track, whereas with Cinder, you just kind of, like, bonk a wall and lose all of your speed. What am I not? Okay, normally I don't have to kill those, that was weird.
No, what? How did that hit the lever, dude? I was right next to the cannon!
Yeah, I had that happen.
Oh my god, mate. No. I am on 97 health.
Oh no.
It's okay, we have backup stealth elves at hand, just in case. And stealth elf also has a passive healing, which heals you about 5 damage every while.
Yeah.
Every little while. I'm not sure how long it is. No! Okay. Fuck me, I don't think I've died in that level for so long.
Oh, you died?
Oh my god. Yeah, I got wrecked by rhubarb while trying to push a cannon. Yeah,
that part is that can be one of the deadliest parts in the run if you're not careful.
Yeah. Also, you may notice my stealth elf has a pirate hat instead of a speed hat. That's because the stealth elf, usually used for boss fights, has more critical hit and less speed than my main one. Now, thankfully, next level, I can use that as an opportunity to switch back to my better stealth elf. Because the speed we found really does add up. It might not look like it, but the speed actually really does add up. One sucks.
I mean, we say that about all of our runs, let's be real.
Yeah, but this run actually sucks. I mean, it dies as stealth elf in chapter 16. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There was not really much I could have done about that. It decided... The gods decided just to, you know, here's a cannon. It says press C to use the cannon. We're gonna flip the lever, press the lever again 3 more times. Not really much I can do.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No, I think we're not gonna expect it to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very mad now.
So, here we're swapping to Zap to do, like, one thing. This is just a pool of water that allows us to teleport. That's literally it. There's nothing else to it. You just go forward in the level. It skips, I forget how much it skips, but it saves time, so we do it.
It skips a pretty big little puzzle.
Oh yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, I remembered that. I forgot what else it did. Yeah, that's literally the only use of Zap in the entire run. But it is pretty significant.
Although that's in Glitchless.
That is in
In
Glitchless.
In 80%, I will actually showcase, if we have a bit of time at the end, and we've been given permission to, I will attempt to show off the interesting property of Zap. So, you may have seen Mark doing it using 1P2C strats earlier. However, because my stealth elf is technically worse than my main one, I'm going to do it with just one player, so I can switch back to my main stealth elf. So it will lose me about 7 seconds, but I should gain all that back in movement speed and power.
Yeah, you'll probably be fine. Yeah, in this run at least, there's only 2 instances of doing one player to controller strats.
Yeah.
In Glitched though, there's
80%,
a lot more.
In 80%, there's a lot more. Which again, as I showed, case No Holidays Cloud 2020. And there are good reasons for that. For those of you who watched that run, which I'm sure was like one of you in chat that watched that run, 80%'s gone even crazier since then. Like, it was crazy then, and it's even crazier now.
Yeah, the any percent world record for not Glitchless is 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 50 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway, come on.
Yeah, because Madman recently broke the glitch world record by 1 second.
After not holding it since October.
Yeah.
So again, shout out to Madman. I also want to use this time to shout out Bensol and Mega Ant-Man, who put themselves down to run in this. We originally going to have a 4-player race. If you watched the announcement, you heard that it was a 4-player race. And then they both decided to have schedule conflicts about 1 week before the marathon. So not much we can do.
But hopefully the 2 of us are at least demonstrating something that you all can enjoy.
Yes. Not sure what happened to that guy. He kind of just disintegrated and what faster than I expected.
Okay, Ghost Roaster, what are you doing?
Have you done the... Wait, where are you?
I just beat Ghost Roaster.
Wow, you are that far ahead. I have only just gone to the puzzle.
Oh, gosh.
That's how bad the death was, and the events. So I may as well mention this puzzle movement while you're watching it, because there's not really much going on in the undead fight. Although that probably means we've also lost all the donor opportunities. Actually, no, we haven't. So these axes, their hitbox only extends to the blade. They don't extend to the head, like the blade, not the blade, the handle. That's the word I'm looking for. They only extend to the handle. They don't extend to the handle, which means that there's some pretty precise movement we can do. I am failing miserably. Yeah. So with that, if the host needs to do any donos, then he can. If
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, I'm not really doing anything right now.
yeah. Dude, getting destroyed by enemies.
Well, we don't have any more donations in, but we can talk about the bid war that we're gonna have active. quite a few of them. I'm gonna refresh my page to see if any new has been activated while we've been sitting here. Let's see. So, first things first, we have Final Fantasy 13-2, we choose the voice language coming up tomorrow, I believe. Quite early tomorrow? Yes, that has the current language bid where they choose between Japanese or English. Then we have Donkey Kong King of Swings, choose the character between Diddy or Donkey Kong. Neither of these bidwares have any relations towards them yet. Then we follow that, we have Pokemon Dreams, the nickname for Eve. You can just donate $1 and put whatever name you want in there, as long as following Twitch rules. And of course Shin Megami Tensei, or person, character names, which we have three character names that can be up to 8 characters long. That's also $1 is all you need to get that goal for your naming. Anyways, back to you.
Not much going on. This, as we said, is the easiest to get unloads on. You'll see probably Mark doing it very soon.
Yeah, I'm
how
right before.
how weird it is. Yeah,
I might
so
still-
you'll see how weird this section is. Yeah, it's still possible to mess up double unload, but it's very much the most free in the game.
Or I would say easiest, it's not necessarily free. Maybe? Might be doable? No, not happening. I might get a single, but Chop Chop and Hex like split up really hard. I got a single unload, I will take it.
I'll try and show the double unload if it works. The only problem is that Ghost Racer is possibly the most agile in the game, and if he dashes,
Yeah,
he's gone. You can't catch up to him. He is much faster than your Ghost Racer, by the way. Also, yeah, these guys basically cheat by having abilities that you don't. Like the Stealth Elf was teleporting around and not having anybody you could attack, which is not something Stealth Elf can do. So yeah, no, they cheat basically.
Anyway, on my screen I am doing another Skylander swap. We are using Drill Sergeant. Drill Sergeant has the interesting property of being able to mine through these rocks. The way that you're supposed to play this level is you're given a pickaxe at the very beginning, and you mine through the rocks by shaking the
No! No, Ghost Racer dashed away!
Yeah. But Drill Sergeant just is able to mine through rocks just inherently, just because of his abilities, I don't know. So instead of using the pickaxe, we swap the Drill Sergeant because his ability to break through the rocks and just being, and he's fairly fast. He's fast enough to play the level, so we use Drill Sergeant because it saves a good amount of time. Because shaking the Wii Remote to mine rocks is very slow. And I'm stuck.
Oh, you're getting killed by the lava. All our Skylanders can also mine the rocks, however there are a lot
Oh,
slower.
which Skylanders?
Skylanders. Like almost useless.
Oh, I am almost dead. I am dead. That's not happened before. I have.
Switch to Stealth
Yeah.
Elf. Switch to Stealth Elf. There's a pickaxe by the fifth guy.
No, I actually like mined all that I needed to, but I still died.
Okay. Yeah, that can happen
That has not happened in a long time for me.
Yeah, the automatons, they're supposed to be destroyed with a bomb, but because getting a bomb would involve grabbing a key and then opening a key gate to grab bombs, we just YOLO.
Yeah.
They're not
Drill
required to
Sergeant-
be killed. They're
Sergeant's way faster for pushing this back as well. This I don't think this is PB pace anymore.
right. It shows just how you know how things can turn in a glitchless run.
That was really bad.
Oh,
Do I?
Locked as well.
So what we also do is we actually continue using Drill Sergeant into this next level. But because I don't know how much time swapping back to Drill Sergeants is normally. I'm gonna just...
Given that you need to switch, given that you need to switch back anyway, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
My screen, I attacked the Habanero with drills before he appeared, which meant that we got a cutscene skip, which Mark couldn't do because he died. So yeah, that's a neat little cutscene skip. Just a small one. There's a load of small little cutscene skips like that, and a few big ones. Obviously. Oh, okay. I was mashing C way too early. After 19 cutscene skip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just staying as stealth elf if you guys.
Yeah, because you need to swap back for the puzzle anyway, because you're on so I'll show you the drill sergeant route for this level while I'm here.
The only thing that I'm doing in this level is I am trying to get as many snapbacks as I possibly can.
Catching up. If you die in fire, I might have a chance to catch back up. If you die in Quicksilver as well. Quicksilver is the only other level where it's possible, where there's a likelihood of dying. And then there's the final chaos fight, but we're prepared for that.
Well, I might get the soft lock and
yeah, I don't think you will because the soft lock's pretty easy to prevent.
It is, but
As
it still
literally,
happens.
It still happens if you're not paying. It only happens if you're not paying attention. It's not like the other one where, like, if you slightly move wrong, it could cause it soft lock. Like, you genuinely have to just not be paying attention to the soft lock prevention up in chapter 20. Or something that I want to talk about is using winged boots. So. This game has magic items. These are extra items that you can place on your portal that will provide boosts to your Skylander. They have interesting properties. For example, one of them is the winged boot, which lets you run super fast. So you may be wondering, why are we not using winged boot? Well, it turns out not only does it make some softlock cutscenes basically impossible to avoid, it also has the property where after about an hour and a half of use, they crash your game. As in, not just like a petty softlock like we're talking about. No, it actually does the "we is dead" sound. I'm sure you will know what that one sounds like. You've all experienced
before
it.
we understood how it worked, like it would just happen, and like we both of us have lost runs on PB/world record pace because of that, and that was before we really knew like how to control it, or what was causing those things to happen. So that was actually a reason why I actually stopped running this game a long time ago, was because of that. It just wasn't fun to play, but now that we have mitigation for basically all of the soft locks in the game, it's a lot better now. Yeah, I'm just now entering the firefight. There's really nothing going on here.
I've just finished the train.
Gotcha. That's movement that I haven't seen Flameslinger do before. That was weird. Didn't really lose time. Only a little bit, but...
Done something new every day.
Yeah, it's a marathon. Anything's gonna happen.
Anything can happen in a marathon.
Yeah, after the next Shadowlander, or like... basically just Chaos's enemies. After that, I'm gonna have about 50 seconds where I will literally be doing nothing. There's a spot in a corner that you can stand in, which you just don't take any damage from anything. So we sit there for about 50 seconds just to rest our hands for a little bit, because for basically this entire run, we don't really stop. It's only between loading screens and like quick cutscenes that we even have a chance to rest our hands. So there's this, and then in a couple levels they get in this corner just right.
Even then, it's still way better to be playing it to try and get damageless as the ultimate swag.
Yes, playing it damageless is swag, but you can...
Run sucks, by the way.
So I'm just going to be sitting here for 50 seconds, if the host has anything to
Well,
say.
I am avoiding Meteor Rain. Now we fight the most annoying Shadowlander. So Sunburn is the most annoying Shadowlander because they have a teleport and their attack does insane knockback. Thankfully, I actually avoided the flamethrower attack, so I didn't get knockback. I don't think I've ever avoided that attack.
I avoided it
very
too.
annoying, and it's usually magnetized to your position, or not magnetized to your position, but it will always attack you right to your position, which means if you're fighting them head on, which you most likely are for speed, you're gonna get hit. Very annoying.
But yeah, shoutouts to Corey for discovering that that little spot in the corner where you can just sit there and do literally nothing. It's called the Corey
I
spot.
was continuing to move around. Corey's coming up a lot. Corey has a lot of very small things that are just so nice.
Yeah. Alright, time to get the double unload and fire, am I right? That'd be nice.
Yes. Wishful.
Maybe? Maybe one. That didn't give me one, that's unfortunate. I don't know how I didn't get one.
I had my hands off the controller so much that I almost didn't skip the cutscene.
Yeah, no unloads. Getting the unloads and fire is the most difficult,
The hardest.
without question.
I think I've only ever had like 1 or 2 unloads.
We're actually coming up into like the final leg of the run, the magic levels.
Magic. Depending on how you define it, it's either 2 levels or 3. I am nope. My flame slinger just had apparently 0 health, and so he died immediately.
If you were paying close attention to my screen, I actually waited to skip the cutscene that the Weapon Master, which is that character that I was just talking to, gives. That is so that we can... so right there, that cutscene that panned to the, that's Arcane Soldier, if you don't get that, then your game will soft lock. Or, it doesn't soft lock eventually. It doesn't soft lock right then and there, but it will eventually if you don't get it. So, the fact that I got that, you should be good to go.
You'll also see the world's most effective shield. Hopefully.
I really hope it's not effective. I would love to save some time.
Well, the world's most effective shield is pretty interesting.
Damn it. Also, there's a soul gem right here. We're gonna try to not collect it, which we're not. Collecting that soul gem is very easy to do. Yeah, I got teleported. Again.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It didn't save time. It was just...
You mean teleported? I don't think I've ever seen that kind of thing.
You'll have to just check it after the run.
Yeah,
Because I had a few interesting things happen in my run.
oh no.
Oh, did you not get the Scorpion cutscene?
Nah, yeah, I didn't get the Joust
Oh
cutscene.
crap, that's...
And I didn't realize until I reached the Automaton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well, there goes any chance of me pulling it back.
Yeah.
That's what happens if you don't get a cutscene.
Yeah, the Automaton just will not take damage, no matter what. So...
Quicksilver Vault is very dumb. That's not the only one that's soft lock, by the way. There's actually a second one that's soft lock. So if you don't get the magic spellpunk cutscene, then on the second island, the enemies just won't be there, and you'll be stuck on an island forever.
Yep.
Bad ending. No, dude, let me through.
My snapbacks, no.
I'm so glad we skipped Mr. Quicksilver Vault in any percent. Alright. Oh my god, and he did it! Oh, come on, dude. Why? Why would you have your shield work and then move as close to the soul gem as you could? Oh.
Yeah,
I'm so mad.
I mean, I kind of expected one of us to get this one.
Oh, I didn't get it, but like he was so close to it. I'm so mad, dude.
I have no idea what kind of pace this run is.
I think it's a decent pace.
It's decent, I don't know how decent. Oh well, not if the magic spell tank is all over.
The Automatons, by the way, are the most deadly enemy in the game. Their missiles do 100 damage each. There are damage cap things, which means you don't instantly die if you get the smallest ring. But if you get if you get hit by each ring, there's a good chance that most of your whole bar is getting eliminated. Especially because the jousters are also pretty powerful.
Good. No damage, or minimal damage, that's good. Right. So coming up for me is I'm pretty sure one of the longest levels in the game, because it is a 4-minute autoscroller.
It's 7 minutes long. In names.
Yes, yeah, it's 7 minutes.
Longest level in the game.
I think the only level that beats it is the final level, if you include the boss fight. Actually, no.
Most people.
No,
No. The final fight is like 4 + 2, so it's like 6 minutes. Plus, actually no, it's 3 minutes in Glitchless because of Discovery's 1 minute. I had to solve the puzzle there for a second. The recent discoveries of the fight is now a good minute faster than it used to be.
Are there more discoveries than just the melting, or is that?
No, that's it.
Okay. Which I'll explain what melting is. Anyway, so I will be doing a 4-minute auto-scroller. I'm going to try to beat it damageless, because that's very cool. But it literally doesn't matter if you hit damageless or not. So I'd recommend watching to get through his levels, because
there's nothing much going on here, I'm just fighting. But then there's a lot of enemies, and remember, because you don't need to defeat all of them, that means that we're going to get swarmed by enemies that we don't need to kill, but will do a lot of damage. Like that jouster coming up on me, that guy we don't need to kill, but he's going to be quite an annoyance if he hits me like that. That's dangerous. Okay, I'm okay with having to wait another cycle to survive. I do not want a second death in this run.
I think my PB.
I think if I did,
9 health.
Yeah, if I didn't run away, then I would have probably been left with 56 health, which is a little bit less than like.
Dying is slow.
By the way, this song is my favorite in this.
The auto-scroller.
Da da da.
It's a very good song. Oh.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I got this.
Oh, did you get the full wall?
Run. No, I got the story scroll.
Yeah, that's a story scroll moment.
I hope my next marathon run is not gonna be like this, because I have a regular 8% run at a different marathon literally an hour after this, and hopefully this it doesn't go like this, because if I do, it'll run overestimate again. Now that we're both there, if you want to go to the toilet, grab some snacks, because I'm sure a lot of great runs coming up right after.
There's pretty much nothing going on for, I'd say, the next minute and a half, at least for me.
Yeah.
I'm just about to enter the big loop.
Big dude. Big dude. I can smell food cooking, but careful the time. Oh no. How long run left of the run? Like 10 minutes. It's gonna be a very tight squeeze if I can even finish it, so I might not get to do my glitch.
I can showcase some of the glitches.
It might. I mean, yeah, I'll probably be fine, but like, I need to hopeful that we okay.
If you want me to do the glitch checks, what I remember.
If I need that to happen, I think it's just cooking right now. I don't think it's actually nearly ready, so I will be able to finish the run. I mean, even if they call me in, I am going to run no matter what. Because,
yeah.
Oh. Because then I'll be known as the guy who literally gave up during a marathon. Already with the reputation of resetting during races, I definitely do not want to be the guy who reset during a marathon race.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy who resets in level 1 and says, "Oh yeah, this is a marathon."
I'm sure there's plenty of people who do that all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm damageless so far. Let's see if I can.
Fun glitch where the melon's going very fast.
Damageless. Woo.
Oh, damageless. Damageless gives you absolutely nothing. It's just cool.
Yeah. For a while, we thought that it was actually impossible to do damageless, but then like, it just kind of happened one day.
Oh, good.
We're like, oh, it's actually not that hard. I mean, it's kind of hard, but you just have to for it. Oh, your shields are putting in work today.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't know if you guys figured this out. This game's pretty good.
Yeah. I'll be showing, and hopefully if we have time, we'll be able to show off some of that. Oh, that's fine.
Just who cares about no glitches allowed? We were given special permission by Slower to do it if we had time.
Yeah. Because we expected that we would be pretty far ahead of estimate. Because the 150 that we gave was basically under the assumption that we have the game like hard locked twice, and we would still be able to finish within the time we want. Alright, damageless left one pause. Good. The part that I just finished can be scary, because they do a lot of damage.
Oh, I took damage. I got hit by one of the automatons. Right at the end as well. Shoot this robot, but it's not efficient, but it's nice.
Yeah, I mean you can shoot it before you're able to be in range.
The fastest you can get is 2 fist cycles, but it's fun to shoot. Oh my god, dude. No, I can smell the bacon now as well. I might be very late to my food. Hopefully not. Maybe that's just because, you know, it's cooking. It's actually got like 10 minutes prep time, because I think that's 10 minutes about roughly left for everything. Wow. Glare of Chaos takes about 2.5 minutes. The final fight takes
4 minutes.
about 3 to 4 minutes. It does not take 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be fine. I'm annoyed this run kind of sucks, but
it's okay.
oh well. Not really much we can do.
I mean, it was a pretty solid race up until that point. We were very close.
Yeah, shame. Oh, what am I doing?
Yeah, anyway, I am entering the final level now. The final level is just kind of a culmination of... It's not really a culmination of everything. It's pretty unique in comparison to everything else. It's way different thematically.
Yeah, so it's set in the... Is it... What do they call it? Do they call it the, What do they call it in the game? I forgot.
I'm not sure.
I haven't listened to Sorry for so long.
I'm not sure, but it is a very different...
I think, like I think it's the Farlands or something like... I think it's the Farlands.
Yeah, that might be it.
Or it might just be the inner Minecraft me saying that, but... Yeah, yeah, it's very far away from the rest. It's supposed to be very far away from the rest of it. That's where his lair is, where you can do all his stuff.
Also, this part has like 2 branching paths. I'm not sure which path is faster to do first.
I don't think there's much.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a difference. In Glitched, we actually just like kind of jump over 8 with Tornado, aka Soup. But we don't do that in Glitchless. We just kind of run through this as quickly as we possibly can. Nothing really too much to say about this level. The final fight does get interesting though, because it's home to the last Skylander swap in the entire run.
Yeah. We will be doing a slightly safer method of it for the sake of the marathon, because, well, not just for the sake of the marathon, just because it's easier and safer.
Wait, there's a safety method?
Yeah, the safety method's the one we do.
Oh, okay.
The true fastest one is a switch for Nitro immediately. But we because it's easy to
okay.
Skyland. It's either to the Skylanders as in 80% doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you
have
pre-swap the igniters, so you have to do it.
Yeah. Like, you gain a free swap.
Oh, yeah.
Every swap in this game is, so swaps in this game, I don't believe we've gone the whole run without mentioning this, but swaps in this game, it's kind of weird. Every Skylander works a tiny bit differently, but the general basis is that each Skylander has a few different, like, battle cries. Some of them are, like, catchphrases that are actually spoken English, whereas some of them are just garbled gibberish, in this game, not in other games. And they will last a very different amount of time. We average it to be about 7 seconds a swap, but there are some, like Zap, where it might be only 3 or 4, and then there's some like Tornado where the swap can be about 10 seconds at its worst.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm doing something pretty counterintuitive here. I am putting on a magic item that slows down time. I did it right. So I swapped to an item that slowed down time. That skips a cycle of one of the dragons coming out and attacking, or part of the Hydra. And I don't know why I think we allow it because it's just like, you just use an item and that just kind of happens, so...
Also, it skips the Doom Shark phase, which is not only like... Doom Shark phases, they don't do much damage to you, it's only about 50 damage per hit, but it's because of the slowdown I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That it's best to avoid.
It's one of the...
So the Chaos Fight has...
It's one of the only attacks in the game that actually slows down time. If it was just the damage, it would be probably one of the best things to get.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of, there is a certain structure to Chaos. There are 3 phases. The first phase is the pre-Skylanders phase. In that one, so Chaos starts on the floor, and then he does that attack with no Skylanders with a spell. That always is a fire and then a water, but because of the time twister, we skip the water phase and they only have fire. Then all the Skylanders refight you in 4 sets of 3 each. Once you defeat the 3 Skylanders of a set, it will then play the spells in order. Which spell it chooses of the 3 is random, and for the 2, and for fire and water, where there's only 2 phases, it basically makes up another one. So yeah, and that repeats then until it cycles through water, life, then undead, then fire in that order, and then you get into phase 3, which is kill at all costs.
Yep.
Chaos will regenerate its health before the 3rd phase, which means that in the 2nd phase, preserving your health is more important. So in the fight, the only way to gain more health is to either kill the Skylanders, which drop food, which give you like 120 health each, or to wait for Stealth Elf's Shadow passive healing to heal you, which is not reliable enough to be worth it. So you have to basically preserve. So it's sometimes better to run away and not attack Chaos in order to preserve your health in space. But then, actually, that's not so much a problem in this run, because we actually don't use the same Skylander, but still, you can still die even before the 2nd phase is over, which would lose time. And would be a lot riskier. That's definitely more of a problem in any percent, where you try to use the one Skylander through the entire fight.
Anyway, I'm about to be doing that swap. We do it right before the, or at least I do it right before the final phase.
Also, yeah, should mention, time will be coming up after that. Time will end when the screen flashes black after Chaos dies. I'm sure, Mark, you'll have to call time so I can't see you, but yes, Timer Man, you better not be asleep. Time will be coming up soon.
This phase we call melting because Igniter deals a ton of damage very quickly. He's fired, so we call it melting. It's fired.
By the way, while you're watching that, Snails is the best one because Snails can be destroyed, which means you can actually speed up the fight.
Double Snails?
Yo, double Snails. Best.
And time is right about now.
GG.
I think that was a pretty solid run.
Yeah, that sounded like a pretty solid run. My run My run would be, I think I played fine, it's just that I've gotten
Yeah,
some
yeah, you played pretty
stuff.
good. We're also gonna
I've just
trigger.
got some dumbass stuff.
We're gonna trigger the fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks.
What's the code again?
ABA, CZ. Oh no, ABA, CZ.
Oh, I skipped the cutscene. Yeah. What was my final time?
Your final time was
1:38:06. That's pretty decent. That's
For a marathon, that's fine.
Yeah, for a marathon, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
I did a run earlier this week, and I got a 1:38:04. So, I mean, being pretty close to that, I'm happy with that. So, where are you in the chaos fight right now?
I am killing Flamestinger, the final Skylander.
Gotcha. Well, this gives you money.
So, should be fire next. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why using Igniter early is so risky is because not only can Igniter take damage, and that's bad, because you want to be tanking damage, but also the, sometimes Skylanders will basically run away, and Igniter is very slow, which means that they can run away enough to the point where Chaos will actually come and attack you, and he'll recall the Skylanders, which means you have to wait for another entire spell before you can finish it. I can hear plates, which means I'm probably not going to be able to do the glitch showcase.
I can, if we have time, I can show some things off.
And if we're allowed to. Let me just finish first.
Yeah. I'm just messing around in the hub wall.
Yeah. I think I want to do the Stealth Elf Super Speed would be the best one.
Yeah, I'll start with that.
And time for me if you. Time. There we go. So yeah, that was Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, 80% glitchless race by. If we're allowed to go for a very brief glitch expedition, which will I think mostly just hub glitches, then go ahead.
5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yes, I see.
All right. You want me to show it off then?
Yes.
Because I can show off a few things.
Go off different glitches.
Okay. So first glitch. We don't really have a use for it yet, but this bounce pad has a weird property where you can just go on it, and if you mash, you just gain hyperspeed across the map. You can do that with some other things. So you can angle it differently. So you can just kind of go different places on that map. I'm also going to be. I'm also going to try to show off. I'm going to show off a trick called a warp, which will take about probably less than a minute. Because I'm going to show off 2 glitches with this at the same time. Basically, how the warp works is the way that Skylanders has the positions of each Skylander, or each player specifically. That has 2 separate sets of coordinates for them. But the problem is that the game forgets to reset it if you swap players and take it off, or something like that. So basically, we can preserve our coordinates on one player and then use them in a completely different level. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going back into the auto scroller because I want to show off a different glitch. So I'm just going to put any, it doesn't matter which Skylander, as long as there is a second Skylander. I'm putting a second Skylander on. I'm going to take it off. Cancel. And that sets just coordinates. And if I mess this up, I can try it again in the hub world, but I won't show off the hyperspeed glitch that I'll be going for. So I'm going to just run over here. We're going to take player 2 off, swap to player 1, and we're going to go to a Skylander named Top Top. And if we did this correctly, we are in some completely other part of the level. Now this seems pretty useless, and for warping this is pretty useless. But this gives us a ton of empty space to mess around with. So we have an infinite speed glitch. If we do an AAZ combo, which is just a property of top length attacks, you get a little boost. But you can take this and continuously add speed. So as you can probably notice, I'm getting slightly faster and faster. And I'll just try to continue this until I bonk, basically. But we continually add speed. And we eventually get to the point where we're so fast that we can basically jump across like this entire hallway in a single press of the Z button. I'll keep this going for a little bit just to see how crazy it can get.
If you want to keep building up speed, I am going to try a zap hover.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Why you...
So,
when a Skylander exits and enters water, they have a little bounce like that, and if you kind of spin your control stick, you can just ascend.
Oh, I actually bonked.
Oh.
Yeah, but as you can see, I could get a pretty nice amount of speed there. But the problem with infinite speed is that it literally has no use for us, unfortunately. There's no instance in the run where having infinite speed is useful, because we just don't need to go that fast for any reason. Because we have warps, which, like I said, lets you store the coordinates. So you could go to some other level, get coordinates, and then warp, and then you teleport to the end of the level, basically. So, yeah.
I think that will conclude our expedition.
Yeah, that was just a few things.
So, yep, alright. And there we go.
Thanks again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed.
Yep, and thanks for having us. Shout outs. I can see Jens, Madman, and Valentine in the chat. They're all members of the community. Lots of other members of the community shout out that I probably don't have time to shout out. Gizmo, Bensol, and Zeta Madman. Mark, obviously, as well as Shadow Knight, who is a very game who's probably not watching.
Yeah.
There's probably, again, more shoutouts that I can't get around to, because loads of people have contributed lots to this game, and the speedrunning is really exploded in recent months, since October, actually.
And I'll also shout out some of my friends and some of my family that are watching right now. I told them about this, and they seemed all really excited for it, so if you're watching right now, hi. I really appreciate you watching the run, and being there to support me. It really means a lot to me.
And I think with that, we'll hand it off to the next runner.
Thank you so much for running. Coming up next, we're gonna do a different kind of speed. Coming up with Gran Turismo concept for the next run, so stay tuned for that. Hey everyone. Thank you all so much so far for all your donations. We still are looking for a few more to reach our event goal of $2,000, but we have already raised $1,813.19, which is amazing itself. It means we have unlocked both bonus runs. One bonus run has already been, and the next bonus run is gonna come up here in about 10 hours? Which is then Portal 1 done Portal 2, which I have absolutely no idea what it means, but it sounds interesting, nonetheless. But yes, if you are looking to donate, please use !donate to find the donation link for Tiltify and all that. And we have also 4 different bid wars that currently have nothing put towards them. The first one would be Final Fantasy 13 2, using the voice language between Japanese and English. Second is Donkey Kong King of Swings, use the character between Diddy and Donkey Kong. Then you can name Eve in Pokemon Dreams. Fill just $1 and get any name you want. And then we need 3 names for Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. That can be up to 18 characters long. Get those bid war donations in. We have completed all our incentives so far, but there should be coming more here soon. Unlock as well. Also, large shout out to Speedruns Live for hosting this marathon, allowing us to host the marathon on their channel, and of course Go Rescue, our charity, non-kill, non-profitable organization that focuses on getting animals and pets off the streets and finding new homes. We had an interview with founder of Go Rescue, and he informed us that they might have rescued up to 2,000 starting people. Brilliant. All the donation goes directly to a good cause. If you're also looking for joining this marathon at some point, you please use !Discord to find the Discord link, and look forward to our next marathon, which should be coming up in December.
Is there anything I need to know before starting? Just like introduction wise or anything, just what's going to happen, do you know? Easy enough. Good out. Oh, I'm already, so let it rip whenever you want.
Okay, everyone, then it's time for me to sign off as host once more and hand it over to our founder and master, Noah.
Goal for this marathon. We're only on day 4, so we still got a little bit of time to make it. But again, we've got a little bit of, you know, we got still a little bit of waste. Just, you know, like I said, everyone donates just a few bucks. You know, we'll get there very easily. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, maybe you want to meet some awesome, challenging incentives or something like that. Maybe you want to see, you know, some runners do some crazy stuff. Use exclamation point incentives. You can actually check out all the amazing incentives there is. Right now, we're just gonna go ahead and get the runners set up and I'll let the music play for you.